Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing the Winter 2021 paper, question paper 3, and I'm focusing on the web authoring part of the paper. So we're on task 3. Before we begin, can I just give you a quick reminder to subscribe to my channel if you haven't done already, and of course like the video if it's helpful. Send me a comment, let me know what you liked about the video, what you think could have been better, and also if there's any other content you'd like me to create, please comment on the video so I know, because I read all the comments of course, and I will give you responses accordingly. Alright, so let's begin. So it says we're going to create a web page and style sheet, so 2 documents we're going to create to promote recycling plastic waste. The web page and style sheet must work in any browser. The first thing we need to do, step 18, is to create a new folder called plastic, and then we need to locate these files listed here from our source files folder and put them into this folder called plastic. Really important that you have this folder with all the files that you're going to use for your web page in together. It will form what we call our site folder, and this is where your web page and your style sheet will reference the files that they need to function properly to communicate with the browser. So that's the first thing we're going to do. And then it says create in your plastic folder a web page called plastic.htm. So let's go ahead, and here are the source files that we need. So I'm just going to quickly check. Banner, beach, bottles, plastic, CSS, plastic, JPEG, plastic text, and shore. So banner, beach, bottles, plastic, shore. And of course the evidence, we'll put our evidence in there later. So I'm just going to put these into a new folder on my desktop. So I'm on my desktop now, and I will just create a new, so I just right clicked, new folder, and it's going to be called plastic. And then inside here, I'm going to put my files in. So I've got everything in this folder now, and then the question tells us that we're going to create in our plastic folder a web page called plastic.htm, and this web page must work in all browsers, we've already been told that, and have a table structure which fits 100% of the browser window as shown in the diagram. So we're going to go ahead and create the folder called web page, and then we're going to set up the structure as we can see here, and I'll explain that more. I use Dreamweaver to create my HTML and CSS pages. You will have, of course, whichever software you're using in the center that you're at, or whatever you feel comfortable with. Some of you, of course, are going to have more knowledge of HTML and CSS than others. As long as you are using, or you're confident in the software that your center uses, that you'll be using in your exam, that's fine. But you will need to have some knowledge of HTML and CSS, and that's normally taught to you in the practical and the theoretical part of the course. Right, so the first thing I'm going to do when I open Dreamweaver is I'm going to go to Site and New Site, and my site name is Plastic, so I'm going to put that in here, and I'm going to browse using this little icon here, and I'm going to find my folder that I created called Plastic, and it's here, and I'm going to select that folder. Okay, so now we're going to save our file, our site, and now Dreamweaver's gone ahead and put the files that we're going to use in our site folder, and now we can go ahead and create our new document. So we're going to go to File, New, and we're creating a new HTML document called Plastic. And we're going to press create, and I've got this in split view, so you'll be able to see the structure as I'm creating it. I'll leave the borders and everything in for this part of the question so you can see. So what we need to do is we have to create this table structure, which is fits 100% of the browser. So that already tells me I have to set the width of the table to 100%, and then we need to count the rows and columns in our table initially, and then obviously we need to merge some cells as well, and I'll explain how to do that. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 rows. 4 rows and 1, 2, 3 columns. Now if you look, some of them are merged across 2 columns, but we actually have 1, 2, 3 columns, and then like I said, we'll merge in a moment. So I'll just go back here. So 4 rows and 3 columns. So if we go to insert, in fact before we do that, let me make sure I'm in the body of the web page. So see, as you can see here, this is the head section of the web page. This is where all our metadata will go, and the body section of the web page is here. So I put my cursor in the body section, and I'm now going to insert my table. So I go to insert table, and it now gives us the option to put in the rows and columns. The width we can set to 100. You must make sure that's in percent, not pixels. And if you say OK, here is our basic structure, not merged yet. So we've got the table width in there already. The border's set to 1. It tells us that the borders should not be visible in here. But like I said, I'm going to leave it there so you can actually see the cells as I'm working through them. Now I'm going to work through and merge the cells accordingly and set the heights and widths according to the question. So the first 3 cells need to become 1 cell, and they are merged across 3 columns. So this is the first row here. So we've got the T body tag, and then we've got the rows, and you can see in Dreamweaver it helps you. So this is the start of the first row and the end of the first row. There are 3 cells in there, so we've got TD1, TD2 and TD3. So that's the 3. So we only need 1 cell in here. So I'm going to delete these 2 cells. So now we've got 1. So now and I'm just going to move the tag over so that it's aligned with the other one. It just helps me to see more clearly. Now it looks a little bit strange because we haven't merged the cell yet across the columns, so it's just got 1 cell and then this empty space here. So what we need to do is inside this opening TD tag, we move our cursor across, and we're going to use the attribute col span, and you can see it here. And then we just need to write inside these quotes how many columns our cell is going over, how many columns our cell is spanning, and it's 3. And as you can see, it's already merged that across. So that one is done. Now we need to go ahead and do the same with these 2 cells here. And so we're going to go in and we're going to remove one of these. Could have been the top one, I didn't need to do it like that. And we're going to make sure that this cell, the first one, spans, so column span 2, because it's merged over 2. And we can double check that in the question paper. So the width, yeah, that's over 2, because if you check here, these are single cells. These 2 are merged over. Now let me do the rest of them, and then we'll come back and do the width and the height as well. And then we have to merge the next cell, which is this one here, is merged across 3 rows this time. So it's all these 3 cells are merged together. So this time we need to go in here into this cell, and we need to row span this time, row span, and that will be over 3, and that's like that. And it still looks a bit strange because we haven't finished yet. Don't worry about that. So this is row 3 here. So if I just show you, so this is 1 so far, then 2, now we're in 3. and we need only to merge one cell in over two. So we're going to remove these two and we're going to merge this one. So that's column span 2. Column span 2. And then we need to make sure we've only got 2 TD tags in there. So we'll remove this one. And then as you can see now, the cells have adjusted to match the question paper. So it's not until you format the last of those cells that you get the correct looking structure. And that's why I thought it was important to leave the border there so you can see. So now we need to put in the width and height attributes for each of the cells according to the question paper. So we just put our cursor inside the TD tag after the column or row span attribute, so right here, and move the cursor across so we've got a space, and we're going to use the style tag. And here it is, and it's not auto, it's going to be 15%. So that's how that should be written. And then so what we can do is, now we've got that tag, attribute, we can copy this and put it in the other cells. So I'm going to put that one here, and then I need to check what the attributes are. So this has got width and height of 45. So I'm going to go ahead and make those changes in there. Okay, so I've copied over the tag, and I need to make sure I've put in the semicolon after the attribute there, after the percentage value. So we've got height in the next cell as being 45 and the width being 60. So we'll change this to 45. And then inside here, after that semicolon, we can put in the width tag, and that is going to be 60%. And you just put your semicolon in again, and you can remove that space there. So the style tag should have, I'll just try and highlight that so you can see. So it should be style, and then the height and width should be inside the quotes. They don't have separate quotes, they should both be inside, and they are separated by semicolons, as you can see here. So that's exactly how we should have it. So we're just going to copy that down now. If we'll cell C, it doesn't give us the attributes. D, we've got a height of 20%, and E and F, we've got width 30%, height 20%. So I'll go ahead and do those. So like I said, this cell here doesn't have any attributes, but this one has a height attribute. So we can remove the width, don't remove the quotes because you need those. So the height is, I'm just going to check, 20. So I'm just going to go ahead and make the changes to the others. Okay, so I've adjusted all the width and height attributes for each cell. I'll show you that in a sec. Just wanted to read through this. It says each table cell is identified with a letter. Some dimensions are shown. These must be set as percentage values and not in pixels. The cell content shown in the diagram must not appear on your final web page. Table borders must not appear in the final web page, which we already know. So I haven't put any actual letters in the cells, so that's easy. But if it helps you to put them in, but then do make sure you remove them at the end. I'm just checking that I've written all of the tags correctly. I've closed all of the angle brackets. I've put in all the quote marks and the semicolons in the right place. It is important that you check that. If you're doing this in an editor like I am, like Dreamweaver, the color coding will help you. So you'll be able to see where the start and end of an attribute is. So here's the attribute name, and this is the actual detail or contents of the attribute in blue. and so you'll see that, and then the tags are in purple. If you've got any syntax missing or incorrect syntax, then the colours will be different, so you need to look out for that. And I'm going to just make that border, I might just remove the border tag altogether, or you can set it to 0. I'm just going to remove it actually. And so now we can't see the table. Now we're going to fill the cells with the content. So in cell A, so the first cell, it says we need to put in N21 banner.jpg, and we'll put all the images in where they're supposed to go, and then we'll deal with cell B. Is supposed to have a video in it. So we'll do all the images first. I'll show you how to do the first one, and then we'll come back and put the video in. So if we go inside here, we're inside this cell. So you must make sure your cursor is inside here, and you move that cursor across. And then if you go to insert image, then you can just put the banner in, and it will just automatically put in the image source tag, as you can see, and the file location. It's put in the width and the height, and then the alt tag is what will appear, the text that will appear if that image doesn't load from the browser. Now, they said it should be the width that is in line with the cell. So what that means is, with the aspect ratio maintained, is we need to make sure the width of each image is set to 100%, so that the image fills the width of the cell. The height we can remove because we won't be needing that. And I would prefer to use the style tag here. Because style is widely read by all the different browsers. So as you can see here, I need to remove that quote. So remember that the attribute, or the detail of the attribute, should always be in quotes, and then we want to put in a semicolon here. So that's done. Okay, so we put the banner in cell A. Cell B is a video, so we'll come back to that at the end. C has to have the image bottles in it, and let's just check where C is. So C is in row 2, and it's the cell that is merged across 3 rows. So that's C, so row 2, so we're going to look for that now. So this is row 1 with our banner in. Row 2 is here, and C is the one merged across 3 rows. So it's this one, so we need to put our cursor inside the cell. We can remove the backspace from inside, and then we're going to go to insert image, and we're putting bottles in there. We need to change the width, so I'm going to copy this attribute here, because remember they all need to be 100% of the cell. So that's in there now. So that's C. So we've got A and C so far, and then we need to look at E and F. So E and F are in the 4th row here. So D doesn't have an image in it. So E and F are in the 4th row, and they're the ones with the width 30 and the height 20. And E has in it plastic, and F has short. So E and F are here at the bottom with the width and height attributes of height 20, width 30. So shawl goes in F, which is here, and beach goes in here. So we're going to remove the space from in there. I just like to remove all these gaps. So if we go to insert image again, and we're going to put in plastic in there, and we need to change the width attribute. So we're going to copy this attribute here, and we're going to put that into into here. So that goes in here. And then we need to insert the image shawl into cell F, which is the cell below. So insert image shawl, and that will also have, let me see if I can copy this. Yeah. So we've got image shawl, plastic and stuff. So I'm going to save this at this point now. I just press Ctrl S to save, and then we'll have a look at what we need to do for the next one. So we've put all the images in. So it says for cell B, we need to put a placeholder to fill the width of the cell. So it needs to be 100% width also. Containing the video clip. So a video, we need to use the video tag for, and then we will insert the file into there. So this is n21beach.mp4, and it should display an automated text-based error message if the browser does not support the video type mp4. So if we go ahead and go to cell B, and B is this one, I believe. I'm just going to double check. I think it's in the second row. So let's just double check that. I should have checked that before. Yeah, so B is in the same row as C. So this is row 1, so row 2, so B is here. So again, inside the cell itself, so we remove this space, and we're going to put in, now you can do this with insert. If you go to HTML, you go to HTML video, it will put in the video tag for you there. And then inside there, so it's put the control attribute in, so it's giving you play. So you've got the option to play and pause. We haven't been told what controls to use in this case. So we're going to go ahead and leave those there. Now we need to tell the browser what video to load. So we're going to put in image. Sorry, not image, source. So with source, so we've put source in. Now we have to put in src, the attribute, and that will allow us to now choose the file. So now we've put in the file here. So we've got the source. So we've got the source tagging in there. src allows us to put the specific file in. We also want to use the type attribute, so we can say what type of file this is. It's a video /mp4 file. So we've put in that information there. Okay, so now we just need to put in our error message in our cell, in cell B, so that the if the video doesn't load, we have a message to say that the type is not supported. So inside the video tag, so make sure you're still inside the video tag. So I'm just going to put my cursor here just after the before the closing video tag, and say your browser does not support this video type. So that's it. So you've got to make sure that all this information is within your video tag. Yeah, so we've got our video, we've got our controls. We also need to put inside this opening video tag the style tag, and we'll set the width of the video to 100%. So I'm just going to remove this width, and we're going to put 100% here, because as it said in our question paper, it says we've got to put in a style attribute so that each image and video fits the width of the table cell with the aspect ratio maintained. So that's the reason we haven't used the height in there. We've just used the width because we don't want to restrict the aspect ratio. We want to keep the original proportions of each image and of the video. So we just put 100% in there for the width. So that's that for the video. So now we're on step 21, and it says put in cell D the contents of the file N21 plastic.txt. And we've got to display this text as 3 paragraphs and add a 4th paragraph which should say the text web page last updated by with your details. And then it finally says apply style H2 to all text in cell D. So let's have a look. So I've got N21 plastic text opened here. So all I did is went over to the files, and here it is, and I just double clicked to open it. So I'm now going to copy it and paste it into the cell, and this is cell D here. So it's in the 3rd row, so I counted the rows, and this is cell D. So I'm going to paste that in between my 2 TD tags. And we need to make this 3 paragraphs, but I'm going to put the last paragraph in first. And I'm just going to press enter. So web page last updated by colon and your details. So that's the last paragraph. Then it said we have to set all the text to heading 2 style, and because they need to be separate paragraphs, we're going to use the H2 tag rather than put in H2 tags around the whole thing. We're going to put H2 tags around each paragraph so that each one is separated as paragraphs. So that's what I'm doing right now. So I'm putting the cursor, putting the opening H2 tag, and then I'm copying. As you can see, it's put the pair of tags in now for me, and I'm just copying the text and cutting it and then pasting it inside, and I will do that for all of these. And the last one is the paragraph we just added with our details. And that's that. So if I put the split view now, and I scroll down, you can see here's the text. So we've got those separate paragraphs, 4 of them separated, all set to heading 2. Then it says for question or step 22, we need to attach the style sheet N21 plastic.css to the web page, save the web page. So I'll do that now. So we just need to go to File, Attach Style Sheet, and then Browse. And this is our style sheet here. And if you hover over it, it says Cascading Style Sheet. So that's how you know it's the correct file. And then press OK. Okay, so it's made some changes now to our page, which is fine. So here is, if I click here on this little tab, this is the style sheet. This is the styles that were laid out in the style sheet. We didn't obviously create it. And this is what now our web page has adopted these styles. Okay, so the next thing you need to do, save the web page, which I've done already, and then display the HTML source of your web page in your editor. So it should be in code view like this. And then it says, take a copy of the HTML source and place it in your evidence document. So I'm just going to copy this, and it's a fairly short piece of code. I mean, it wasn't a huge web authoring question. And then you just want to paste it into your evidence document under evidence 3. You need to then go ahead and display your web page in the browser. I'm going to go to F12 on your keyboard, and then you'll be able to preview your page in the browser. So here's mine. So I just need to resize it by using Control-, and then I can put it into my evidence document. So you want to make sure that all the page can be seen, all the text can easily be read, and the address bar is visible. So you need to control zoom so it fits within the web page nicely, and you want to take a screenshot so that the address bar is visible, and then put that evidence in your evidence document. And that is the end of the web page part of the question. Like I said, only worth 25 marks. Well, I say only, but it's a little bit shorter than what we're used to. So that's it. If you've got any questions or queries about this particular part of the exam paper, please comment on the video, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you in the next video. Good luck with your exams.